Okay, welcome back everyone to the Animation Revaluation Podcast. I am your host Lizer, and with me today is just James. We had Jay step out for a bit. He's feeling a little sick. He may come back later and tune in for a little bit. I think he's gonna be in the chat, but right now it's just us two. It's the butt buddies. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
Ew.
I'm doing. I'm doing good, but it's like hella hot right now. Like a real scorcher right now here on the West Coast. It's like disgusting outside.
Well, that sucks. I'm at like a cool 60 something degrees right now, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm just kind of chilling.
I envy you. But how about you? How about you, man? What have you been up to?
Not much this week, honestly.
No? My week was just... I think I did the convention. I didn't get to be there as long as I wanted there to be. But I did spend a good amount of time trying to talk to people just because I don't really like go into like strike up conversations like with new people like ever. So I tried something different, and I want to say it generally was pretty positive. At least I thought
I
so.
thought you were gonna say it was pretty poggers. I was gonna leave. I was just gonna leave.
No, I'm not that cringe, but I mean, what the most cringy part is that like I was told that like I pretty much like I seem like one of those drunk guys that just like goes to random people and starts talking, and then like the way like they would talk, that's it generally. Like if you can imagine anything like that, I did that with like multiple people.
Nice.
But like I mean that was like generally me just trying. So I'm like
I mean, yeah,
I'm
that's
still,
the thing. You tried, so it's fine.
yeah, but I mean it was pretty fun. I did meet like a couple of like artists that I follow, and like a couple other like people that I've like bought stuff from, and I'm like, oh, I remember buying this like online, and like, oh, like there's actually a face. I can see the face behind it, and I was like, it was really nice, like getting a little behind the screen about like everything that they did and do, and like a little bit about their creative processes. So it was I mean overall it was pretty nice going to WonderCon.
Pretty cool. As for me, I debuted my 2D model this week, which was really cool. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I started playing the 2018 God of War. That's pretty much all I did.
I don't think I've seen your TD model yet. Do you have a picture of it, or
you said you were looking at the stream? So.
I wasn't.
You were literally just telling me. You broke it down to me about how you were gonna be watching the stream so you could check the chat, and then you don't.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's because I had it on like podcast, but I was like, okay, but I was like, okay, I listened to you, and then you're mad that I didn't listen. Oh, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks just like my 3D one, just 2D.
I know, but I kind of miss your other one though.
I actually think I prefer this one. I feel like there's more I can do, and it's more expressive.
It is a lot more expressive. Yeah. That is 100%. Yeah, it's a lot more like your facial expressions do change a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing we did this week is we watched an anime.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, oh god.
That was a little kudos to Jay. This Sally gonna be here, so he's like, yes, sir.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Okay. Well, we watched. Jay said, "Please don't do that again." Oh boy.
Dude,
Oh no.
be here to say it.
That hurt my soul. All right. Well, we.
There's not enough bass in there. Oh, I'm sorry. I
No, don't.
think I
She's
just
gonna try
like
again now with more
naturally just sound like
bass.
a little boy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, we watched Ouran High School Host Club, which came out in like 2006. So that should give you an idea of like what kind of show this is. But,
So it's like what,
yeah,
10?
Take it away,
What's
man.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, it starts off with the main. Oh, I wouldn't. She's like a main protagonist, I guess I would say. Her name is Haruhi Fujioka, and she. Well, I guess when the first episode starts, she kind of portrayed as a guy because she kind of had this, what's the word, like
Androgynous.
it's like androgynous or androgynous. Yeah, there you go. That's the word. She had like that kind of look. She had like baggy clothes and everything. And the only thing you really know from her in the beginning is like she recently lost her. Oh no, I don't want to say recently, but she pretty much her mother passed away, and pretty much she's at this school that she got a scholarship to, because she's like an honor student, and the school that she's at is Ouran Host Club. Oh no, that's the club.
Ouran High School.
Ouran High School, or is it Ouran Private Academy? I would say, yeah. It's because it's more of like a private, like, high school.
Yeah.
And it kind of starts off with her looking for a place to study because she kind of feels a lot out of place because she's definitely like, not like a different caliber. It was just more like she had a more poor upbringing, and compared to everybody else at the private school, they're all like they're more reputable. They're more
They're
I guess
rich.
They're rich. Yes, they're
from like a
they're
high
rich.
social standing because they're rich.
What's the word? Aristocracy. I can't even say it.
Aristocrats.
Yeah, something like, yeah. That's pretty much what they were. And then she end up being in a, because she kind of felt out of place, so she wanted to go someplace to study, because she kind of had that kind of misconception that rich people don't really like want to study. They just kind of like want to have fun. So she ends up like, I was like, you know what? There's this quiet place here in this music room, and she ended up in a club room for the host club. And then that's where she meets the rest of the Ouran host club. She meets the president named Tamaki Suo, and then you have the vice president named Kyoya Otori. And then you have the, I kind of forget what's, I feel like they're second years, Tamaki and Kyoya, I believe. And then you have the Hitachin brothers, who are twins, and they're Hikaru and Kaoru, yeah. And then you have the last pair, and I'm sorry, the Hitachin brothers, I think, were in the same grade as Haruhi. I think they're first years as well. And you have the two third year pairs, and they're Honey's was it Mitsukini Honeyzuka, but he goes for Honey for short. And then the other one was, I believe, was Mori Takashi, I believe. And pretty much when she first comes into that club, they think he's some kind of guy, and they don't really know much. But I know Kyoya was kind of like first to kind of like, I feel like he kind of knew that like she was a girl, but like didn't really say anything. But he pretty much kind of already knew that that Haruhi was a scholarship student, and like he kind of just knows that because it's not every day that like you get a poor person to come to this rich school.
Yeah, I don't think he
So
knew that
like,
she was a girl. He just acknowledged that there was someone like that in the school and knew that it was her.
yeah. So he kind of he like when it comes to like everything and everything, pretty much he's kind of like that guy that would know about that kind of stuff. Um, Pretty much like if it came to it, like in the brains of the host club, he would be like that background character that would know all of that, that kind of controls it from behind the scenes. Well, you have the club president, but he's pretty much the face of it.
Mm.
And pretty much they're kind of like grilling Haruhi a little bit, just because like the differences and whatever, and then like somewhere in between there, she accidentally like bumps into this like expensive vase and like just knocks it down, and then like what was it? I think it was like worth. They said it was like 8 million, and then like I had to like see like, oh, how much is 8 million? Like
It's like
I don't even
$650,000.
it was like I think it's like closer to like 72,000,
Something like
but
that. I don't know.
it was like it was expensive. So I'm like, she was just trying to be like oh, like how, like I don't even like how many like million is into 1,000, like she would pretty much say, and then she was just like, I don't like. So I know the president ended up Tamaki was saying, is like, you know what, like to pay it off, it's just you're gonna have to be our little errand boy in a sense. Like you gotta pretty much be the host club's bitch in a sense.
Basically, yeah.
And yeah, so pretty much that's like how it ended up like kind of starting off. I know they have Haruhi get like groceries.
Oh, the coffee.
Yeah, the coffee. That's, and then that kind of like gives you a little idea how how different their worlds are. Because like I don't know about you, but like I only use instant coffee. So when he was like saying about the like the coffee, and that they actually take the time to grind the coffee and do all that, I was like, I mean, like I imagine the coffee would taste better for sure.
Yeah, like I would love to have one of those machines that like grinds it for you and like puts it in like the espresso machines.
Mm-hmm.
Like those look so cool. I have a Keurig right now that I'm fucking spoiled with that.
Oh yeah,
I am so spoiled. Just get the little K cups and just pop them in there and you're done.
Yeah.
And then they have like this is off topic. Did you know that the Keurig has like fucking soup cups?
What do you mean 2 cups?
Like, you know how you pop the coffee thing in there?
Yeah.
They have ones that are like soup broths. And you put like a bowl under where the water comes out, and instead of coffee coming out, it'll be the broth of the soup.
May not seem like it, but you're like blowing my mind.
No, it's same. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like, you could get chicken noodle soup in like a minute. It's amazing.
Yeah, you know what? Like the weird part about that, like I don't know if it's just because like I just turned 30, but it was just the fact that I kind of been craving more like soup. So like the fact you're telling me like the Keurig like can make soup, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, because we're talking about the Ouran Host Club, and I'm like, I gotta know more about this. So you could tell me a little bit later.
Fuck the show. I want to know about these soups.
This is the soup.
Even just Keurig chest, like, where do you find these?
I gotta know.
They probably have them on Amazon, most likely, but my uncle told me about it. I was like, oh my god, are you serious? He has pictures of him doing it. Like, he sent me a video. I was like, oh my god, please.
I want to know like the extent of like how is it just chicken noodle? Can I just like any kind of
No, it's
soup?
different.
Like,
It's different broths,
yeah.
but they're like
Oh.
specifically for the Keurig. It just pops in there, and like you'll either put an empty bowl or like a bowl with noodles or whatever, and it'll drop the broth in and cook it. Oh, it's amazing.
No, that sounds like amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. And they also have like you ever heard
Yeah.
of Theraflu?
Is it the cold medicine?
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
that for
what
the
about-
Keurig.
I don't know how to feel about that one.
Because it's supposed to be like a tea. It's like a cold
Okay.
medicine tea thing. So
Yeah.
they have it that you can just pop it in the Keurig machine and just get it automatically without having to make it yourself.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we should probably get back to the anime now.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I could keep talking about it, but I mean, we should probably, yeah,
We'll talk about this later.
yeah, in private. Okay, so where did I leave off? I think, yeah. So
We were talking
she
about the
ended up
vase.
Yeah, she just recently broke the vase, and pretty much she has to be the host club's bitch.
Yeah, they're gopher.
Yeah, and then pretty much they kind of start kind of noticing, like, because he's all baggy and everything, and like I don't know like what brought it up, but they were just talking about like her looks.
Because
So
they
I
have
know
like
like
standards. That's why.
yeah. So like I know Tamaki was just like going on about like I didn't mention it. What to those who would not know what a host is. So pretty much what the host club does is they're a club that pretty much spends their time entertaining women. So pretty much they would just like talk, have tea, and just like pretty much just have like these like conversations with them, and just how else would you describe it? It's
Yes, just they have uniforms. It's like the boyfriend experience basically.
yeah.
The women come in and they're like, "Oh, hello, my lady. What a lovely weather we're having," and they're just like very charming to them, and "Oh my God, you're so cute," like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then like, you know, each one has their own special talent. So Honey, he's super small and adorable. You know, the twins, they do like the boy love thing. It's like, "Oh, you're hurting my feelings by telling them this story." It's like, "I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry." And they get like uncomfortably close to each other. They're like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, because this anime would fall into the categorization as like shoujo, I believe.
Yeah, this is it's probably
It's been a minute.
How's
since
the best way I can say this without getting people angry? You know what? I don't give a fuck. This is Fujo bait. 100%. This is Fujoshi bait. That is what
I
this
don't even know
is.
what that is.
Fujoshi are the female anime fans that are like the hardcore, like boys love lovers. You know, like they want everything to be yaoi and all that. And this is that. This is what like their taste would be. The reverse harem type stuff.
Yeah.
This is 100% like back in the days when this was the popular show and Tumblr was like at its peak. This was the thing everyone had on their profiles. That's what this show is.
Okay. I never got that impression though. Like I saw it maybe a little bit, but like for me, I looked in more into like the aspects of each character. Like you were saying, like Tamaki is more like I think he introduced himself like more like the princely character. So whatever you think like your ideal prince would be, he would be like that. But like he would be like that to a certain extent that it's almost obnoxious.
Yeah. Fujo bait. You're not understanding it because you don't know what Fujo was and you've never experienced it. I was pulled into that shit because of the people I was around at the time.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what it is, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate the whole Fujo culture.
But as I think we were talking about. Okay, we were talking about the coffee.
Oh,
So,
right.
um, that that pretty much that they grind, like they didn't understand how instant coffee worked, and they thought it was just so cheap, and like, and then like from there they were like they started pointing out her like looks, and then like I think one of the Hitachi brothers like took off like Haruhi's glasses, and they noticed like she actually looks like he like, well, because they thought it was a boy, like this person's actually looks pretty good, like pretty. So like I think they ended up like giving her like a big like makeover to look like a guy. They give her a guy's uniform and everything.
Yeah, to make her look more like she fits in with them.
Yeah, and then like um she, I guess like,
Literally rich kid stuff, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the fact that they were so amazed by instant coffee. Like,
Yeah,
all you
like
do is add hot water. First off, no, that's not what you do. Because where's the milk and sugar? Okay, don't fuck
Yeah.
with me.
I use Kramer.
Fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm not drinking fucking black coffee, especially as a high schooler. Not
I know.
happening.
I kind of like what part? Okay, so they're making the coffee. Oh, yeah, so they pretty much, so she ends up being like I guess they qualify her more as the natural type. I guess that's like the categorization they kind of go fit her in, and pretty much because working pretty much being the host club's bitch probably won't pay her as much in that debt. So instead, they kind of like, since like Haruhi looks like they could, she could actually be a host. They're like, you know what, you're being like promoted to actual host, and pretty much to get out of the debt, she has to I guess have like 100 customers like request her or something like that, and pretty much that's how it starts off. And then you do meet one particular customer, but I won't really say her name because it's not like she really comes up after this episode. But she's really kind of really devoted to Tamaki. But ever since Haruhi joined, Tamaki's attention's been more shifted to Haruhi, just more into like trying to. He was just trying to like get her to be more of a gentleman, be more of a host. But she found that like she was just end up being like a jealous, I guess.
Yeah.
Like she wanted all the attention because I think she was actually a princess of somewhere, I believe. So like she
thought she was the perfect match for the prince.
Yeah, so she didn't like that. So like she even like went to an extent to like bully her. I think she like threw like her like books, like Haruhi's books, out like the window onto like the school, like it was like the school fountain pond or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like Haruhi didn't really care, or so it was just more like she was just more concerned that the wallet, like that she keeps her food for like the money for the week was in there. So that was
She's fucking poor.
Yeah, so it's just like that was the only thing that concerned her. And then it wasn't until like that one princess was able to like confront her a little bit more, and then Haruhi understood like, oh, like you're actually jealous. Like it's because she didn't really understand why she was like mad at her, because she didn't really do anything. She just like started being a host, and like she doesn't even barely even know the woman, you know. So I don't know why she ends up like trying to like frame Haruhi for like assault, but like was it Tamaki and I think Kyoya too, because I'm pretty sure like Kyoya was able to dig up the information for him, I believe. That like it was like the princess that like was bullying Haruhi, and like she was the one, and she ended up being banned from the host club. And then like even like because of all this, like even if it wasn't Haruhi's fault, she still had to be like punished for like doing like, because I imagine they had to punish her because I'm sure like uh it's because they don't really overly talk about how much like each host pays, or like how much each like customer is like paying for the host. But like I imagine it was like probably like a pretty penny to lose like a regular. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
like
definitely.
they made her quota from 100 to like 1,000 customers, and then that's pretty much where the first episode kind of like ends off.
Yeah, and then every episode after that is kind of like just adventure per episode thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just the
uh
overarching story of the season. You know, it's
yeah
just her trying to earn that money, and you get to have like certain episodes with each like boy basically. We get to
yeah
learn more about them. Like for example, the twins. Haruhi is the only one that can tell them apart. You remember that?
I do remember that. I that was one of like my most favorite episodes that I've
Mm.
watched,
Mm.
because I always I had like a pair of black cats when I was little, and like for some reason, like I don't know why, but mostly everybody couldn't tell them apart. And I'm like, what do you mean? They look completely different. They're like two little black cats,
uh,
but like their fur, like one got a little bit fatter, but like I could tell the difference. So I'm like I did understand the fact like the way that they felt, like especially because they like, unlike most twins, they were like almost pretty like, at least for the sake of the show, they are like very identical.
mm,
So even if you're like from an outside perspective and you're looking at which one's which, you wouldn't be able to tell. But Haruhi was able to tell. And that kind of like rocked their world, because like um, in that episode, they um, it was just, it's only been them. So I'm like, if like throughout the series, they're like joint to the hip. They're like, they sleep in the same bed. They're always together. Like it's like everything they do is like all together. So like having somebody being able to like in their world, like I know it affected one twin more than the other, but it did like leave an impact on both of them. And I mean, in general, Haruhi was just pretty much an impact on like all of them in a
yeah,
sense.
they all from the first episode to the last episode of the series, they all become different people basically.
I did like after rewatching it, because I kind of forgot, but like in the first episode, they each time like each character got like a little bit more invested into Haruhi, a little bulb would like turn on. I didn't really understand the significance of it, but it seemed like each time um it was like a certain like, it was like a certain scene that it would be a where they would be a little bit more, I guess not attracted, but I guess attracted would be the best word to say it, like to Haruhi in some capacity.
I wouldn't say attracted, just more
I couldn't find the word,
like
but
in
it's just,
tune with, cared about her more.
yeah.
Like the relationship that they have deepens, but it's not one of a romantic nature.
No.
Yeah.
Um yeah,
Yeah,
like that
establishing and
episode.
strengthening a bond. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good episode. But yeah, like you said, like pretty much most of the character, like it's just, think of it like these are like Haruhi's adventures. So pretty much like the stuff she has to do to like pay her debt to the host club for
Yeah.
that. And that pretty much summarizes, and it's a very like fun watch. um I feel like some of the episodes, like after rewatching it, it could be like they could like shift the episodes a bit, and it would make a little bit more sense. Um, but like overall, like it was definitely a fun watch, especially for anime that's like almost what, like I want to say 2
16?
decades. Yeah, like 16 years old. I feel like it still holds up, and I feel like it still in general can be pretty relevant,
Mm.
even to like today's standards, I would say. But yeah.
So what would you rate it?
If I had to rate it, I mean, I did pick it. So how about you tell me how you rate it? Since I mean,
Jay said it came out April 4th, 2006.
no, it did. Came
Yeah.
out on my birthday.
Yeah.
Wow,
Look at that.
look at that. Oh, so you're saying that it was almost 16 years to the day. You're saying that
Mm-hmm.
we're doing it. That's cool.
Pretty funny coincidence there. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. It wasn't even planned either.
Yeah.
No.
But as for me, this is an anime that I watched back in like my early teens. I want to say like maybe not even teen. Maybe I was like 12, 13.
When you were innocent.
Or 4. No, it's probably a little later. Because the reason I originally started watching this is because there was a girl, like, not like a pseudo girlfriend type of thing, like not brave enough to make her my girlfriend, like not brave enough to ask type thing. But she was really into the show. She loved the twins, so I watched the show because of that. And I remember really liking it. And
were you ever a twin?
What?
Did she ever make you a twin?
Like what does that even mean, bro?
Like did you like a role play as a twin?
No.
No. Okay, sorry for asking. Go ahead.
Okay. I finished the anime back in the day. I read the manga. I think they have different endings actually.
They do.
Yeah, I don't remember what they are, but and I remember generally thinking that it was pretty cute. I liked it a lot. And then you brought it up again, and I was like, oh wow, that brings back memories. And Jay and I actually started watching it together. So we got up to we started episode 1, right? And we got to the whole like her knocking over the vase and the whole thing of the coffee. And I'm listening, and I'm like, we were watching the English dub, so you know it's the Vic Mignogna thing.
I've only watched the English dub.
Yeah, I mean that's like the to-go one.
Yeah.
And we both just kind of had the same idea of, wow, this is really cringy. I can't.
Did you guys also notice? That I kind of also got the idea to watch this because Jay did the last episode we did for that Jay did for Seraph the End.
Mm.
If you noticed, for the English dub, actually, the one for that one vampire, Cruel, was the same voice actor, Renge. If you noticed, Renge, the host club's manager, is the same voice actor as Cruel in the Seraph at the End. Is something I noticed when I was watching Seraph at the End. I was like, this is like, I recognize her voice, and I was like, oh, it's Renge.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got up to that part with the coffee and everything, and I think we got a little past that actually, and we both just kind of at the same time went like, I can't do this. This is really cringe. So we didn't even finish the first episode, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I figured.
And like I remember liking it, but I don't. Maybe it was because of the girl, or maybe it was because like I was younger and my tastes have changed since then, or maybe it's just because the anime just hasn't, you know, it by today's standards it just isn't very good to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't do it. And then like hearing the fucking English dub voices and the like Vic Mignogna plays Duke, Tamaki.
Yeah.
And knowing that he used to do the Fujo bait stuff all the time too, and it was like he would go to conventions and like the young girls would run up to him and like, I'm gonna glomp you, which is like the fucking run at you, jump and hug you type thing, and he was all for that, and now he's like being sued for possibly being a child predator. It's like, ooh, this is not aged well at all.
I guess I'm in behind the scenes and more into world. Yeah, but I mean, like, I never, at least for me, like, I didn't really get into.
I mean, but
world.
even just ignoring that, like, I just don't think for me it has aged very well, and I was actually cringing too much to finish even one episode.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, the animation itself, like, I like considering like that's how it was pretty much 16 years ago, and like especially like the animation you're getting today, it's like night and day. So I mean, like, back in the day, like, that's pretty much like the best extent of animation that we had.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like,
that's not true. For the most part, yeah, a lot of things were very generically animated, but there were some really top-notch things back then.
There's also a lot that I haven't watched.
Even before this anime came out, we've had a lot of top-notch things that it's just something like this wouldn't get that kind of budget, is the thing.
Oh yeah. Well, that I guess that also goes into it. I didn't really think there actually has, like, I kind of forget what's older than this, but
a lot of things.
There are a lot of things that, like, I probably kind of overlooked now that I think about it that have and are like better anime. I'm just I'm as far as like shoujo, I guess.
Yeah. So if I was reading it from like when I was younger, the way I had it in my head, I probably would have given it probably like a solid like 8, because I remember being into it.
Yeah.
But as of now, me as an adult and looking back on this and trying to watch it and not being able to get through it, it honestly for me was a 1, because I just could not do it. Jay put in chat just now, I'd rate it 4 out of 10. Definitely not for me. I honestly cringed really hard trying to watch it, but yeah, boy love bait. Immediately uncomfortable. I almost redacted, so I'm gonna guess he put cum. Listening to this, I don't think it aged well. It probably was fine for its time. Yeah, I think for its time it was really good. It definitely was. I keep saying it, Fujo bait. It definitely was that, and it was to the point that even the voice actors would participate in that. So like they would go to conventions, and like what's his name? The one with the glasses.
Ikoya.
Yeah, so his voice actor is an openly gay man, and that's completely fine. You know, more power to him. So he was even more comfortable doing, you know, like the gay stuff.
He plays Ida, right? In My Hero Academia, I believe. I have
no fucking clue.
At least as far as everybody knows, I know. Out of everybody, I know, like, voice actor wise, he's the one that I like the most.
Yeah, but he was, you know, or he is a very openly gay man, which is fine. So he would lean into that a lot, and then like Vic Mignogna would lean into it, and he's like a very effeminate sounding man. And they would just like go full tilt into like basically almost making out on stage, and all the girls would be like, oh my gosh, the number 1 pairing, fuck Haruhi, she doesn't deserve him. And oh god.
I know Jack Barrowman's the same way, but he's not like with anime. It was just with like Doctor Who, but like he's also an openly gay man.
Yeah, and like that's completely fine, but it's the fact that they were doing it for the bait that I was like, that makes me uncomfortable, because these are like underage girls.
Yeah, well, I think that's just like
oh yeah, I've seen John Barrowman like just grab David Tennant and just like full on kiss him on the mouth and like
yeah. I don't know, like I never really got into like that kind of specific. I didn't really look into it like that, like, so I didn't really get that cringe. I just, for me, it was just more like the story, and like and really like the animation itself.
Story wise, it's pretty cute. It's pretty, if you just focus on just the story, take out a lot of the extra stuff that's not needed to make it.
Take out all the cringe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's
take out all the
cute.
Cringe.
It's like these rich people basically take in this poor person, get to view the other side of life, and basically form like almost family bonds with her, and you know, one of them falls in love with her, and kiss, fall in love.
Yeah, that's the way I always saw it. Just growing up, and like now you're telling me that, I was like, oh, that's crazy that happened. But I mean,
This
I
is
mean,
this is the one of the biggest like bait animes from back in the day.
yeah.
Now we have stuff like Yuri on Ice and Free, which is like still doing that, but they put a lot more effort into the show itself. So like it's more acceptable now.
Those are other shows I was maybe thinking of doing as well.
Please
It
don't.
just kind of well, it's because a lot of people have been recommending me to like watch Free, and
Watch it on your own, buddy.
but like
I can't wait for someone to find this in like 10 years and be like, Lizer's homophobic. And like that's not what the point is here. I'm not.
he's against cringe.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's they just do it in such a cringy way.
Yeah.
But
So
like
you
I
rated
said,
an 8? Sorry.
No.
You said an 8 for its time, but you rated a 1.
When I was younger, I probably would have said an 8.
8.
But like I said, I don't know if that's because it hasn't aged well or if it's because I was chasing coochie. But yeah, Jay said
12?
4.
4. Okay. For me, for me, I mean, if I'll give a similar answer to you. So for me, I rated an 8 for back in the day. Today,
10 out of 10.
10 out of no. I kind of really don't know how like even though like we rate things, like there's just like so many things to like just overall. It's just an overall rating. So I mean, I would also just stick with that same amount, 8. As like I don't think, even regardless of like how you guys like felt about it and like finding out like a little bit more of like what you guys found about it, I was like, it doesn't really change much.
I mean, yeah,
for me.
our rating shouldn't affect yours at all.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, that's just I generally just like it is a, like I've said before, it is a go-to of mine, and maybe it's just because like the lack of knowledge that
it
I
wasn't
know.
tainted for you. That's the thing.
And, like I think that's what it is. Like if you're going into like watching this with like little to no nothing, like pure like purity in your like eyes, like you're like I think you'll find this very cute. It's definitely like something like very fun, little easy, like especially like if you're like barely like getting into anime. I would say this is definitely like one, especially like with all, I mean there's a bunch of other ones, but this is something I constantly like sometimes like I would play like in the background, or like whenever I'm like studying or doing something, sometimes just like having this on like in the background, I would just play it. And yeah, so I rated it an 8.
All right. Not bad.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add before I go into what we'll be doing next week?
No, we pretty much covered a lot. I do want to go back to the soup, but I don't know why that was like the most interesting part. The curing part of it, the instant coffee part. But no, yeah, you could go ahead.
All right. So I'm sure you've heard of like Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah, it was very. It's. I mean, it is. I just another separate question. Do you think Nickelodeon was better back then, or is it better now?
Oh, back then, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Okay.
Now Nickelodeon has had like various spin-off things, like they do the Nick at Night after kids should be asleep, and they play like, you know, like the live action reruns of like, you know, Fresh Prince and stuff like that for the adults, and then they would have Nick Jr. early in the morning for kids, and eventually they started like branching those off into different channels instead of having it at the same channel, just different time slots. And over the years they had a couple of different channels that they went through. And one of ththese channels was called Nicktoons Network. You ever heard of that one?
Actually, vaguely, but that's only because I didn't really have cable growing up.
Yeah.
So I do kind of remember.
Yeah.
Like there was this like so I just remember looking at the cable box and there was like 6 or 8 different like not Nickelodeons on there.
Yeah.
I was like, why is there so many?
So many?
And I was like, why is it only like half of it is accessible and the other ones like aren't? And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, why aren't they all the same? But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. So Nicktoons Network, I might be wrong about this, but I believe that it was mainly just like where they would play a lot of reruns and then kind of a testing ground for some certain new things that they didn't think would do very well on the mainline Nickelodeon channel. So you could go on there and see like fucking reruns of Rugrats, Angry Beavers, which were like older shows from the 90s. And then you would get like
I feel like back in the day there was just in general lots of reruns.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
but like I was just like I remember it was just because like for me since I didn't have cable it's just all PBS.
Yeah.
So like I would like see like the same like I would know like front and end like this like every show, but I would never know what was the first episode or the last episode.
You don't know what order they wanted,
It was just like I just kind of started watching it, and I'm like, oh, I remember this episode. I'm like, oh, okay, and then that's pretty much it.
So they would show like rerun stuff, and then you would also get like new shows that they didn't think were going to, you know, like pop off the same way. And Disney did the same thing. They had their Jetix channel.
Oh God, I loved that. I did.
Yeah,
that was like
Jetix
when
really
I
good.
briefly.
Yeah.
That's when I briefly had cable. That was like when Jetix like was
Jetix
near
was
its
so
like
good. Oh God.
when it was like on its prime.
Yeah.
Like I do remember Jetix.
So there was one show on Nicktoons Network that I have always loved. I've brought it up to a bunch of friends, and very few knew what it was, and those that did either had seen very little or hadn't seen it at all, just heard of it. And it is a little thing called Kappa Mikey. And I felt like this is probably the perfect show for our podcast because we focus so much on anime, even though we can do like any type of animation thing. This is an American show. It is anime inspired, but not anime, but they use a lot of anime tropes and designs and kind of like poke fun at like that kind of stuff. And it's just about this guy. His name's Mikey, and he wins like a trip to Japan to be in a show, and it's like his life doing that, and it's a comedy, and I just love it so much. It's a very ridiculous show, but it always made me laugh. I don't think it ever had like an episode that was boring to me.
Yeah.
You ever heard of it?
I never heard of it.
Oh boy.
It look, I would even as far as I go and be like, I don't even remember anything resembling this.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Like people either don't know this exists or they're like, yeah, I kind of remember that.
When like, if you had to think back in the day, like Jetix, like the number one like go-tos, like I remember like what was it, Beyblade? I feel like Beyblade was like one of like the biggest ones on there.
On Jetix, I remember the big one was Get Ed.
Get Ed. I don't even remember.
It was like this futuristic like hoverboard thing. They were like delivery drivers, and they would use like hoverboards to get around. And there was like this evil dude that was trying to stop them. And the main character of Ed was like this. He was like had powers or something, and the guy was trying to get his powers. It was weird.
Oh, I never watched that one, though.
It was super big. It was like that one and like Super Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
That I watched.
Yeah.
That what? It's only because I like monkeys. So
Super Robot Team, Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
I mean that was pretty much the song. It was like Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all around the same time.
Yeah.
But those were on Jetix. This was on Nicktoons. So this is really hard to find, honestly.
I imagine. I don't even know
what I found the first 5 on YouTube. I'm going to make a playlist. I'll share it with you and Jay.
Thank you.
So that way we can just go through that. But I've only been able to find the first 5 episodes, which is oddly convenient considering that's what we try to watch for this.
That's exactly how it was when for like Jackie Chan when we did watch it. It was just like I think like the first 5 were like on there.
Oh yeah, you found the first. We actually found like all the seasons.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but I am looking forward to seeing what you think of this, because this is just an experience to be had. I think even the first episode, you'd be like, okay, I know what I'm getting into.
I mean, I think just like based on the 2 characters on the left, I already have a good sense of what you were into, because it's still pretty similar what you're into now.
What do you mean?
Well, I remember you. I for some reason, like I feel like you were drawn more into these 2 girl characters, especially like the one with blue hair for some reason. But I don't know, because I think me growing up as a kid, like there was like it's pretty much as a straight kid, like I would always like look at these like characters, like the female characters, at least like what do I like about this character. But like it does throw me off a little bit just like looking at them, that they're almost different animation styles.
Yes, because he's like, American and they're Japanese, so they're animated like anime. He's an American cartoon. Oh,
you're right. I also just put like I also put in that attention. I was like, oh wait, like he's like, have you ever watched it's another PBS show. It's a little bit more recent, but like not that recent. Have you heard of Word Girl?
Yes.
So that animation of Word Girl looks exactly like his.
It looks like Mikey. Yeah.
Looks like Mikey.
I get what you're saying. But no, I wasn't drawn in by these characters. Actually, this one right here in the back with his arms raised up.
Yeah.
That's the best character in the anime. Or in the show, rather.
I assume he's the villain for some reason. But
no.
I mean,
but we'll get into that when we watch it.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for you. I'm super excited just to rewatch this because I love this show. It's such a dumb show. I love it. But yeah, get ready for that. Anything you want to say before we go?
No, I think we covered a lot.
All right. Yeah. So look forward to next week when we watch Kappa Mikey and I get to relive my childhood. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.